Hey, what is going on, my Geminis? I love me some Geminis. Butch Tarot here. I'm going to do a general read. Because it's a general read, means it may not resonate with everyone. It is for your sun, moon, rising, and your Venus. For all you cross watchers, roles can be reversed. Always feel free to comment down below. It's like 4 a.m. right now, so I got the heater on in my my shed slash office. I'm on the east coast of Canada, so it's really cold this morning. But I got up and I couldn't sleep, so I said, might as well do something productive. But anyway, I'm gonna pull an oracle card first from the Earth and Bone Oracle. Universe, give us a message for Geminis. Higher self, fertility, creativity, conjurer. All right, I'm going to use the Pulp Tarot. And with all that being said, let's get it. Universe, what message do we have for Gemini? Yeah, for Gemini. All right, Gemini. Interesting. Very interesting. First things first, Gemini. This could be someone you just met or someone you are going to meet. I don't feel like you already know this person, or at least know them very well, because I feel like it's still early. But I feel like with this person, first and foremost, I mean, we gotta have this. We gotta have communication. I feel like with this person, I feel like they're very straightforward. Very straightforward. And I feel like they get to the point. And I feel like as a Gemini, someone that knows a Gemini as well as I do, you like that. Straight shooter. Straight to the point. Don't bullshit. Don't beat around the bush. Just straight to the point. You know, and I feel like they're direct. And I feel like you have great conversations with this person because of that. You know, just really picking their brain. Geminis like to pick brains if they're interested. You know, if they find you interesting, they'll pick your brain all day. With this person, very intelligent, very clever. You know, I feel like this person's very witty. They just make you laugh. And not just a laugh, but I mean a belly laugh. And if you can make a Gemini belly laugh, you're doing something right. You know? Now with this person, I feel like things moving quite quickly. Now, very possibly because of the open communication you have with them, if you can communicate with someone, you get to where you're going faster. You know, if you're with someone and you're talking to them and they're just beating around the bush, you can't get straight to it. But with this person, like I said, very direct, so I feel like you're getting straight to it. You know, we got the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Wands. You know, with that Sagittarius energy, Knight of Wands, I feel like it's very Very flirty energy. And I feel like that helps move things along even quicker. Just I feel like they get you. And one thing that I've learned from my experience with Geminis, which is a lot of experience, is that Geminis like people that understand them. And that's very hard to do because Geminis have a hard time sometimes understanding themselves. So, I mean, I feel like with this person, they're very ahead of the game, which kind of points out something very clear with the Six of Cups in reverse. This person is not like anyone you met before. They're very unique, which suits you very well because I feel like you're very unique. I've never met a Gemini that wasn't unique. So to have someone that just, they get it. They get you. And I feel like you're going to find a lot of happiness with this person because of that. Even though there's a physical and mental connection with this person, there's also a friendship. And Geminis find it hard sometimes. Correct me if I'm wrong. Leave it in the comments. Sometimes Geminis find it hard to find good friends. Someone that they can depend on, and someone that doesn't bug them when they don't want to be bugged, and someone that just is there but doesn't have to be there. You know what I mean? Like, they know how to read the room. Geminis appreciate someone that knows how to read the room because they know how to read the room. I feel like there's a very mirroring of each other, except for I do feel like this person, I am getting a lot of fire. And I feel like a very openly loving energy from this person. Like, I feel like they're not afraid to show you how they feel. Now, that's different than someone that's always showing you how they feel. This person isn't afraid to show you how they feel. You don't, when you want it, they'll tell you. We have temperance. It's a very balanced energy. Like I said, I feel like what differences you do have balance you out. You balance each other out. And, with temperance, it's more Sagittarius energy. And the Queen of Cups is that loving energy. That nurturing energy. I feel like this person, even though there's this nurturing energy, this person, I feel like they do it in a very different way. And I feel like you're going to enjoy that as well. I mean, I see a lot that you're going to enjoy. Like I said, 9 of Cups, filling up all your cups, not just some of them. All of them. Finding a lot of balance with this person, again, with justice. I feel like this person is someone that, like they have your back. Like, this person just keeps surprising you, and they're going to continue to surprise you. And I feel like if you're keeping a Gemini guessing, you might keep a Gemini longer than most people, because Geminis, I mean, playfully, in a good way. I feel like with this person, this is someone that has your back. I feel like they may challenge you. I feel like they may piss you off. But when it comes to anybody else, they keep everybody else hands off. With the seven of Wands, it's almost like that feeling of like anybody on the outside of you and this person has to go through them to get to you when it comes to negativity. And the reason why this person is the way they are and why they're going to be this way with you is I feel like they feel very protective over you. Not that you need protection, but if you do, they're there with that Emperor. It's a very nurturing, some more, mixture, like I said, that mixture of that nurturing energy and that protective energy. And it's because they know what they want. They've never found, like I said, they're not like anyone you ever met. You're definitely not like anyone they ever met. And they like what they see. And very quickly they know what they want. They don't want you going anywhere. I mean, in the sense of finality, not like they're going to lock you in the house. Sometimes I feel like I have to clarify shit. The King of Wands, I mean, this person's going to want to grab you and hold on as much as you'll let them hold on. You know, a lot of Leo energy here because we got the Strength card and the King of Wands. Strength card, I feel like you make each other better. You know, they challenge you and you sure as hell challenge them. You know, but you know how to read the room, and I feel like that's why you're going to get along so great, is because you're able to read the room. I feel like this person's self-aware, you know, and it's very hard, like I said, for Geminis to find someone that clicks with them on a level like this. And I feel like that's why you've never met anyone like this before, because I don't feel like they build a lot of them. Another thing with this person is, like I said, what they bring to the relationship is one thing. What they get from the relationship is another. I feel like this person is very open with you. I feel like they find it hard not to be. Like they can just talk to you. You know, with that 8 of Swords in reverse, and we have the 9 of Swords as well in reverse, it's that fearlessness when they're with you that they can just, and it helps them grow. So it's not just them bringing something to you, you're bringing something to them as well. And that's why this is a very, what they call an interdependent relationship. An interdependent relationship is when you depend on each other. You know, and I know that may sound bad, but it's really not. Codependent, not so good. Interdependent is when you both bring something. One person isn't depending on the other person. You just make each other better. And I feel like the one thing I really enjoy when I pull this card, this Aquarius energy with the Star card, it's like this energy of hope, renewal, you know, just being you and being accepted for that. Finding someone that, you know, and this is on both sides. I don't want to make it sound like you feel like you're accepted and that's it. I mean, they feel accepted as well. I mean, they just feel, it feels right being with you. And it exposes the depth of this connection. You know, I feel like I said, we're moving quickly, and there's a reason why we're moving quickly, because I feel like this is where you know, this is, I've said this before, I think I said it actually in the last Gemini video, it is like that lighthouse energy. Like this feels like it's calling you. You know, it feels right. And even though this person may piss you off from time to time, which I feel like they will, I feel like they're, you know, there's no one you're going to want to rather be with. And vice versa. You know, this person is giving you their all. They show up for you. Like I said, they got your back with that seven of Wands. Now, for some of you, I was getting this message of like keeping family, protecting you from family, or outside drama, like people just keeping that shit out of your life because you don't need it. But it's like when you're with this person, it's almost like a feeling of, you know, one day you wake up and maybe you don't want to do anything, and there, you know, it's just like, fuck the world, I'm gonna stay in today. And this person, like I said, there's absence of judgment as well, and I feel like that's kind of coming back to that Strength card. You just feel strong, and with that Star card as well, you just feel like this. You just get to shine as yourself. You know, it's the sense of renewal, the sense of hope. It brings all this together, and I really enjoy that. I mean, these Oracle cards, I mean, I feel like they're really bang on. They've been bang on lately. I mean, you know, higher self, fertility, creativity. This person lets you cook. And I don't mean cook as in cooking food. I just mean like when you got shit going on, this person isn't standing in your way. You know, this person's right beside you. You know, it's that ride or die type of energy, that, you know, that person that's with you till the wheels fall off type energy. And I love it. I love it. I absolutely do. But like I said, we do have a little bit of Cancer energy in there, but Mostly fire and air. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Um, yeah. I mean, a lot of fire and air. I wouldn't be surprised if your person is a fire or an air sign as their sun sign. I would not be surprised at all. But like I said, it's... When I say this person gets you and they understand you to the point where a person could understand. I've been with a Gemini for almost 17 years now. And there's days where I'm still figuring it out. But it's about the effort. Anybody, like if you're, for the cross watcher that's dating a Gemini, if you're with a Gemini, if they're giving you attention, that's a great sign. You know, don't let them get bored. Make it exciting. You know, but also be honest. If you don't think they can handle it, you're wrong. That's one thing I learned in my relationship, that she can handle anything. You know, and there's days when I don't really know what's going on in her mind. And I also know that she probably doesn't either. But like I said, I let her cook. She's got an idea, she wants to follow through, she's going to follow through. To a point. You know, Geminis try a little bit of everything. This is what I always laugh when I talk to, me and Rose talk about it. I said it's like if you get one of those assorted plates with all different types of food. A Gemini's gonna pick away at each thing until she finds the thing she likes, and then she's gonna go and eat it all. We've done that actually. We went to sushi restaurants, and that's how she is. But that's how they live life. You know, today they want to do this, tomorrow they want to do something else. And yes, they're going to jump from things to things, and a lot of things aren't going to get done because they realize when they get to a point, I'm bored of this, or I don't want to do this anymore. They're not afraid to jump to something else. Like some people stick it out even though they know they don't want to do it. Geminis will never do that. They figure out they don't want to do something. They're just like, you know what? I don't want to do it. Peace. And I love that, you know. I'm just here for the ride, you know what I mean? I'm along for the ride. They don't like it when it gets boring, but they'll, generally speaking, Geminis don't let you get bored either. But there's gonna be days. There's days that she pisses me off, and there's days I know I piss her off. But I mean, I always tease her. I say I like my women on the wild side. You know, I need someone that's a little crazy to match my crazy, so we can be crazy together, you know? It's not easy. You know, it's not easy some days with Geminis, but it sure as hell is worth it. I'm sure every sign, but like I said, I spent more, like half my life with her, so kind of a bit, I guess my opinion is a bit skewed, but like I said, I mean, I wouldn't want it any other way. But it's the same thing. Like it's, like I said, it's with a Gemini. I find a lot of times too, it's hard for them to make real friends. But when they do, they're real friends. You know, some people can be friends with everybody. I'm not saying Geminis can't have a bunch of friends. I'm just saying to find the real good ones. But when they do, they lock it down. You know. Anyway, as Geminis, you're watching this and probably saying, "No, let me know if I'm way off base." I don't think that I am. I may be wrong, but I don't think so. But it also depends on what's in your chart too, as well. I mean, that can affect a lot of things too. It's But from my experience, and that's simply what I'm talking from, is my experience. My best friend since I was 4 years old, he's a Gemini. He's a June Gemini. Rose is a May Gemini. And, you know, two very important people in my life, and been in my life for a very long time. So, I mean, I have other friends that are Geminis, but from my experience, you know, like my best friend, he's very quiet until you get him talking. You know, he's a quiet guy until he has something to say. But him and Rose get along very well, because she likes the fact that he can read a room. You know, he knows when to talk and when not to talk, and he finds himself, like he said one time, he said, I'm like a fly on the wall. I like to listen to people talk, figuring them out that way. You can't figure out who somebody is by talking their face off. You got to let them talk to you. You're going to get a lot more information. So he just gathers information. That's how he rolls. But like I said, once you get him rolling on a topic he wants to talk about, good luck shutting him up. I'm the talkative one out of the two of us. Imagine that, right? Anyway, be good. Take care. Stay safe.